What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and today we are going to review Spider-Man Across the Multiverse. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and my reason behind this whole movie. So without further ado, let's jump right into a quick intro. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. Miles finds himself pitted against other spiders, but must redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves the most. Alright, enough of that, let's jump right into the good.
The good.
Now, it goes without saying that the animation in Across the Spider-Verse is a thing of pure beauty. I felt like I was caught up in a dream during the whole movie, as all the colors would vibrate and sometimes feel like the subtle narrator of the story itself. There was a scene when Gwen Stacy was talking to her dad, and I noticed that jumped right off the screen to me because it just felt like the emotion and all the colors were just perfectly correlated in a way to just really help the story move. It felt like I was watching a live action lava lamp or something. Plus, Across the Spider-Verse never lets your eyes take a break because there are so many constant things changing in the animation. I appreciated the times when the animation style would kind of clash all in the same scene. Even if it felt a little jarring at times, and in a good way, it still kept me in a state of wonderment. Thanks to the animation, we got a chance to see some mind-bending action sequences that were a pure joy to watch. And I have to talk about the fact that this movie had some of the most intense action that I've seen in a comic book movie in a very long time. Miles' battle with the villain Spot was unexpectedly incredible to watch. However, I think what takes the cake here is that ultimate crazy wild spider chase scene that you've probably seen in the trailers. There was simply so much going on that I almost couldn't keep up. Not only was there a lot going on, but along the way, the cameos were such a nice treat that were tossed in. Yes, there was some long-awaited fan service that was added, but it felt so earned and satisfying. Now, when it came to the writing for this movie, I thought it was absolutely superb. Many of the high-level concepts dealing with the multiverse were presented and explained in a way that were pretty easy to follow. At the same time, the stakes and sense of urgency in the story never felt lost among all the fun and exciting things that were added along the way. The comedy in the movie landed almost every single time. I absolutely had a blast, especially with India's Spider-Man. The back and forth banter and quick one-liners from many of the characters were utterly hilarious. I appreciated the movie finding a great balance between being dramatic and adding some levity. Now, speaking of the actual drama in the movie, I gotta say, some of it was pretty heavy, but I have to give a lot of credit to the voice actors. Thanks to some great voice acting from both Shameik Moore and Haley Steinfeld, both of them delivered great performances during some really emotional scenes in the film. Their voice work perfectly lined up with the direction of the scenes and never made me think twice about their delivery. Now, Oscar Isaac, oh my goodness, my man was really intimidating as Miguel O'Hara. He set out to play a no-nonsense Spider-Man, and he passed that test with flying colors. I think one of the best things about this movie is that it managed to capture the essence of what makes Spider-Man within the themes that they explore in the film. I was absolutely blown away at just how precisely this movie was able to exactly pinpoint what makes Spider-Man so endearing and relatable. Rather than simply relying on the low-hanging fruit of talking about great power and responsibility, this movie went even deeper. The theme of sacrifice and how it relates to the definition of Spider-Man was incredibly thought-provoking. Then, just when you think that wasn't enough, the film dives even deeper with the theme of self-identity and having the autonomy to be in charge of one's own destiny. I think what makes these concepts so fascinating is that the movie found a way to kind of make them wrestle for Miles in terms of being internal and external. In other words, the fact that he has to juggle his personal issues right along with the huge, potentially world-ending stuff that's going on, it kind of makes you want to root for him all the more. And I just really love the fact that, Miles's personal issues and all the chaos going on in his world or the multiverse or whatever, they all felt like they had the same level of weight. And all it made me want to do is just keep watching him to see, is he going to overcome these odds and how is he going to grow from it as a hero? Now, I know it oftentimes gets tossed around, especially with a lot of movies, but I thought that this movie did a wonderful job in terms of making representation really matter. While it was briefly visited in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, this sequel did a proficient job of representing the diversity of Miles Morales. To be more specific, this movie put his Latino heritage and culture at the forefront. I love the fact that there was more Spanish included, although I would have liked a couple more subtitles, but hey, it's all good because you still get the picture at the end of the day. Now, I could really tell that this stuff really hit home for people because whenever like some Spanish phrases were given or Latino, traditions or food or just other cultural things were mentioned, I could hear people in my audience like actually cheer or give like some echo of agreement as things happen. And you know what? Even though I'm not from the Latino community, I can totally understand that if that thing resonated with them like that, then the movie was doing a very good job. I mean, that level of impact, I know I felt when I watched Black Panther, so I can only imagine that people in the Latino community are probably going to feel a similar level of impact and connection with Miles Morales. Anyway, now's the time where we got to talk about the bad.
The bad.
Now, there are only a couple minor issues when it comes to the bad stuff in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. One of the things I did mention was that, the movie is very, very fast-paced. There were a couple of times where I started to notice that there were so many things happening when it came to either cameos or captions that would come on the screen that I barely had time to fully take them in. This could be a clever filmmaking tactic to entice audiences to rewatch the movie, which I do plan on doing anyway, but it did get a little frustrating because I kept getting the feeling that I might have missed something important because it came and went just so fast. Now, another minor issue I had was with the character of Spider-Punk, played by Daniel Kaluuya. As much as I loved the writing for that character, and I did love the portrayal, I found it kind of hard at times to understand what he was saying. I fully admit that this could be maybe a sound mixing issue, or maybe it was a sound quality in my theater. Maybe it just wasn't all that great. And I'd hate to blame it on, Kaluuya's English accent or what sometimes sounded like mumbling. But either way, I know I'm going to have to turn on my subtitles when I watch this on demand. Now, one final minor issue, again, these are minor, is going to be the inclusion of Gwen Stacy's story in this film. After taking some time to think about it, it felt a little bit overstuffed from a narrative perspective. That isn't to say that Gwen's story wasn't important or that it wasn't compelling. I quite liked her story, actually, especially her relationship with her father. That really hit home for me. My issue is that Gwen's story kind of co-opted Miles' story unnecessarily. I thought that it probably would have been more effective to maybe hint or reference some of her issues and save some of that story for her own movie. In other words, I felt like the movie kind of sort of did a disservice to both Miles and Gwen. I mean, this is Miles' story, and there were times when we talked about Gwen where Miles was nowhere to even be found. But then again, I'm also like, Gwen's story is really interesting and good, and she deserves to have more screen time than just, 10 minutes here or there. So for me, I'm just like, look, let Miles have his movie. and then let Gwen have her movie. I'm here for both of them, but the way they kind of told the story, I thought it just kind of ate at each other just a little bit. Again, super minor, doesn't hurt the movie, doesn't break it or nothing. I just thought that it could have been handled a little better because I was like, yo, I want more Gwen. And yeah, I want more Miles. But anyway, let's get on to the reason.
The reason.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is an exceptional sequel that skyrockets its way into the conversation of the best comic book movie of all time. The animation in itself will undoubtedly place this as a frontrunner for Best Animated Movie at award shows. It's a crowd pleaser with a bit of everything for general audiences. Lord and Miller perfectly understood the assignment of what makes Spider-Man tick, and they didn't miss a beat of making Miles Morales a potential household name in the future. Now, I also believe that Across the Spider-Verse does raise the bar, not only for Spider-Man movies, but other comic book movies as well. When it comes to handling the multiverse, I thought this movie did a much better job than Doctor Strange 2. When it comes to dealing with fan service and, dealing with great responsibility and power and all that, I thought this movie did better than Spider-Man No Way Home. So when it comes to the rating for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I've got to give it a 9 out of 10. This movie needs to be seen ASAP. There are some fun surprises in the film that you don't want to have ruined by the internet. Also, the multiple cameos and references to previous movies are going to be way more enjoyed in a communal experience in theaters. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is exactly why people go to the movies. I mean, this movie really did feel like an event, and by the way, I would also say that you don't have to go see a whole bunch of other movies to get it. Maybe it wouldn't hurt though to go back and rewatch Into the Spider-Verse before you go into this movie, just to kind of keep things fresh. It's not necessary, but it wouldn't hurt. And by the way, there is no post-credit scene at the end, so don't feel like you got to sit there and wait because there's nothing there. Anyway, do you plan on watching Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? If and when you do, come on back to this video and let me know, what did you think about the movie? I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.